Hi, everybody, and welcome to the FNS Wrestling Podcast bonus episode. I am your host, and with me, as always, is my teenage son, Jackson. Say hello, Jack.
Hello.
Well, we're back for the bonus episode of, go ahead and tell them.
AEW Revolution.
Yes, AEW Revolution. We're a couple days away from it now, had some time to think about it and crystallize our reaction, so we thought it wasn't an amazing show that we wanted to cover right away, but it definitely has some things to talk about, right? There's a few talking points for sure, so we thought we would sit down and do that tonight. I don't know, we could probably save our banter for the weekend, and you want to get right into it?
Sure.
All right, so I don't think you watched the, what do they call it? Kickoff show? Pre-show?
Buy-in.
Buy-in, thank you. I forgot. So I did end up watching the match, nothing else really of the buy-in. So this was Riho and Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker and Maki Ito. So that was a bit of a surprise. Baker had a doctor's note, which was written by herself, which I thought was kind of funny, as she is a doctor, saying Rebel was medically ineligible to compete and that
she should just do that always.
Right? She could do it anytime. Ito was revealed as the new partner. So I didn't really know about Maki Ito. I don't know if you did or not, but essentially, she is like a pop star. That's her gimmick, and she even comes out singing like a song and the whole deal. I've never seen her before. Her signature...
I know she's in the tournament.
Yeah, her signature thing seems to be that she has a really hard head, so she's always trying to hit headbutts and use her head.
I think, is she the person who's always like with flipping people off? I know there's like
yes, she does that as well. That is her. Or she did that here.
Remember that one guy at the Smash in Progress?
Yes, although you liked you thought he was cool. And
I thought he was funny.
You were how many years old? And he like basically flipped you off right in your face. But you're like, you get what he's doing because he's a massive heel, right? So you thought it was great.
It was funny.
I forget who he was. He was actually good.
He's like bald and he's wearing like the...
For Progress, right? I think.
Progress or Smash?
I think he was Progress. Yeah.
Yeah. He kind of looked and wrestled like Dexter Loomis.
But smaller and faster.
Yeah.
He was definitely a quick guy.
Just like he kind of had that. So.
Yeah, he did. He had the gloves. Loomis, I think, used to have gloves. Maybe that was when he was in Impact.
I think he still does.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Sorry. So yes, this match, I'm not gonna go into super detail. I went into detail with some and not with others, and this was one of the knots. So near the end of this match, Ito is using her hard head to block strikes from Riho before landing a headbutt to set up a near fall there. Rebel gets up onto the apron now, but Baker accidentally hits her and knocks her down. And before Rosa could capitalize, Baker shoves Rosa towards Rebel, who's sort of just by the ring apron now. And as Thunder Rosa and Rebel collide, Rebel sort of lifts a crutch up to hit Rosa. Actually looked pretty good with the crutch in the head, and the ref doesn't see this, and Britt pins Rosa for the win. I really didn't think this match, you didn't see it, I know, but I didn't think it was anything special, so I don't think you really missed anything. It had a couple sloppy parts, I thought. I wasn't super impressed with Ito. I mean, I wish I was. I would love to tell you she looked awesome or something, but she honestly didn't stand out to me. She's got a heel pop star gimmick, I guess, which is kind of interesting, but she didn't look great in the ring either. So I don't know. I didn't think this was much. I did like that they're keeping Baker and Thunder Rosa sort of involved in some sort of program together, because I think that they work well together, and I don't mind some feuds that are really long, right? So I don't know. I guess that was a good thing coming out of it, but it wasn't an amazing match at all. All right, so let's head into the actual main show here. And we noticed right off the bat, right? My very first note was that JR could barely talk to start this show.
Yeah.
I had no idea. My guess when it was starting was that he wasn't going to finish and that somebody else would, like Tony would take over or something. But it seemed to get better, right? I don't know. He was really struggling at first, and then
there were spots where he was.
And then I stopped noticing after a while, so he must have gotten better. But anyways, we start out with the AEW World Tag Team Championships on the line, and that is the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, defending against the Inner Circle of Chris Jericho and MJF, and they have Wardlow with them, right? So the Bucks attack right away, and things end up outside the ring really quickly. We get stereo suicide dives by the Bucks before they apply simultaneous sharpshooters to MJF and Jericho. I don't know about you, but the synchronized stuff was a bit much at a little bit here. Like, it was right in a row, right? So I don't mind it, but I didn't love two things right in a row that were super synchronized. I don't know. Just me. The Bucks control the offense for a while now until Wardlow gets involved to shift the momentum for the heels. Jericho locks Nick into the Lion Tamer, and then he applies one to Matt. We get some near falls by both teams, and Jericho sneaks in a shot with a baseball bat, allowing MJF to hit a heat seeker, and I almost fell for that near fall, actually. I thought it was a very good near fall with the heat seeker. Jericho misses the Judas effect and accidentally hits Wardlow with it. Shortly after, the Bucks do end up hitting their Meltzer driver on Jericho to score the pin. So I guess for me, this match was the story of the Young Bucks wanting to continually hit Jericho and MJF with their fast, high-flying, double-teaming offense, and the heels trying to sort of slow things down and close the gap if they needed to by cheating and taking every shortcut possible. I bought into a couple of near falls, I'm not going to lie, especially the one that MJF had there. The match built towards the end. The spot with I didn't mention it, but they basically, as Jericho's going for a lion salt, both of the Young Bucks super kick him. I thought that was really cool. I really liked the match. I thought it was a strong opener. The Young Bucks, I did say bored on some synchronized moves for me at one point, but I forgive them. In the end, I like that they're tag team specialists, right? That they're the ones that are better than the quote unquote 2 single stars that are thrown together. And I like that. And it sort of shows that AEW does really value tag teams, right? That yes, this actual tag team is better and they won. So I liked it. What did you think?
Yeah, I liked it. I felt it picked up a little more towards the end.
I do too.
Obviously it's nowhere near last year's tag title match. Of course.
And that's tough because if we compare it to that, which was one of the all-time greats, right?
That was probably like my most favorite match ever.
It was awesome.
It was great. But I liked it overall. I think, like, obviously I didn't love it, but it was fine.
Did you like the choice for an opener?
No, I think it was a good choice.
Me too. I think it made sense, right? Considering
tag matches are always good.
Yep.
So yeah.
So yeah, a good opener. I wouldn't say an amazing match, but definitely a good start to the show. Then we have the Casino Tag Team Royale, I guess they're calling it. So the 2 teams started the match were two of the 50 teams that were in this, it felt like. I'm not going to lie. I had no idea there were this many teams going into this match. It was crazy.
I think there's 15 teams because then it'd be the same amount of people as a Royal Rumble match.
Right. So the 2 teams that started the match were the Natural Nightmares and the Dark Order. We have to specify, right? Because there was 3 Dark Orders. So this was 5 and 10. Which
was the 3rd team that we didn't know about.
Right. Oh, yeah. Because was Top Flight ever supposed to be in it?
I think they were. I think.
I thought so too. Maybe not, though. Who knows?
I'm pretty sure.
We are told then sort of that a new team will enter every 90 seconds and both team members have to be...
Basically a tag team Royal Rumble, but it is pretty sweet.
So both members have to be eliminated before the team is out. So the 3rd entrants are Pride and Powerful, and we noticed they were entering to their old themes, usual theme.
Their tag team theme.
Which I think is awesome. Sounded good.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Yep. QT Marshall hit 5 with a diamond cutter and then tossed him over the rope to eliminate him. He was the first one out. So then the next team are the Seidel brothers, and Matt went up top right away to hit a double knee dive onto Santana. Then we get Evil Uno and Stu Grayson. Shivani noted that the Dark Order had the numbers advantage over the other teams, obviously. And then we get Mike Seidel eliminated by Santana and Ortiz. Next team in is the Guns. It's Austin and Colton, right?
Yeah, it was,
How long's he been there?
Not super long. I think he's been around a little recently, I remember, but...
Have we seen him before?
I doubt it.
I don't remember seeing him.
He's probably on Dark.
Right. Ortiz tossed Matt Seidel over the top rope and onto the apron. Then Santana booted him off the apron to eliminate him, making the Seidels the first complete team to be eliminated from this match. The 7th entrants were Peter Avalon and Cesar Bononi. Really?
Ooh.
We couldn't have done better.
Yeah, but Cesar Bononi was the tallest, right? So
that's right. We were working that gimmick, but he was the biggest, so there's
the advantage right there.
Absolutely. They do love size. Well, who was it? Mostly JR that likes that idea. Biggest man in the Rumble.
Yeah, John Silver has no chance.
That's right. They worked over one of the Guns and then sort of were doing their posing. We then get the Varsity Blondes as the 8th team, which is Pillman and Griff Garrison. At some point in this, the Guns eliminated Peter Avalon, then tried to eliminate Bononi, but Marshall pushed both of the Guns over the top rope to eliminate them, and
Bononi looks really weird with his mustache or whatever.
And he didn't do much, really. I'm not sure.
No.
I guess they just needed to fill in the 15 teams and couldn't get anybody else. I'm not sure.
Yeah, like, you're looking at Peter Avalon, then, like, Top Flight's not there?
Right. There was some questionable...
Okay.
And I get you can't have the Acclaimed, because...
Right,
Caster's already involved in something, but anyways.
And Bowens isn't around, but, like, really? Bononi and, like, honestly.
So I had to be reminded here, but QT Marshall eliminates the Guns, and they're all part of the Nightmare family, right? So this was obviously the beginning of something.
It looked like kind of an accident at first.
And then QT, so Dustin sort of calls out Marshall for eliminating members of their family.
Right, because at first it looked like kind of an accident, right?
Right, so is that, maybe that's where they're going. But then QT, regardless, gets annoyed and he eliminates himself kind of by hopping over the top rope, right? So I don't know. There's a storyline involving QT Marshall, I guess.
Yeah, it's QT Marshall, Dustin Rhodes, and the Gun Club. I don't know how interested they want me to be in this.
The fact that we've even discussed this for this long, I'm disappointed in us because it's not. I don't think it's anything that's going to matter.
Let's just not give them more attention.
So the 9th entrants were Bear Country, who I've only seen like pictures of.
They're
really.
like saying like, what if Dustin Rhodes wins? What's gonna happen? Yeah, he's started this match and he's also pretty old. He's gonna win,
and
right?
Yeah, he's just a top star in the company,
right? And it's like, I mean, that would be interesting, but it's like not realistic at all.
No, definitely not. So Bear Country came in. They looked kind of impressive, I guess, in their just 2 big guys.
I honestly couldn't really tell throughout the match that they were faces because like they sound like faces. They kind of
I agree.
Act like, but then they were kind of acting like heels at times. So
yeah, it was hard to tell.
I honestly
so far.
don't know.
They didn't do anything to clearly let us know. I don't think, to be honest. So Grayson went after Boulder because it's Bear and Bear Bronson and Bear Boulder. So he went after Boulder, but Bronson broke it up, and Bear Country eliminated Grayson, which was disappointing because I love Grayson.
That's not very polite of them. See?
Not at all. Kind of rude.
Not nice, yeah.
The 10th team is Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, so that's cool. Jungle Boy clotheslined Ortiz over the rope to eliminate him. Bononi played to the crowd, but ended up taking a kick from Luchasaurus, who eliminated Bononi. Luchasaurus eventually throws Garrison over the top rope to eliminate him as well. Jungle Boy eliminates Santana, and Marco Stunt Run sort of came in and did like a sloppy Hurricane Rana.
Oh, I must have missed that.
That ran Evil Uno into a ring post.
I must have missed that then.
Could be. Then we get Butcher and Blade accompanied by Bunny. Butcher eliminates Pillman as Blade throws 10 onto the apron. Jack Evans, I might need some help here, who's not in the match, shows up out of nowhere and pulls 10 from the apron to the floor to eliminate him.
It's the Matt Hardy doesn't like Hangman, and Dark Order and Hangman are associated.
So we're assuming that maybe Jack Evans got paid more to do that? Okay.
Yeah, that's I think the assumption you're supposed to make.
Okay. So Butcher and Blade teamed up on Dustin and had him on the apron, which allowed Bunny to pull Dustin to the floor to eliminate him. So the dream is dead. He is not winning. Sad. So 12th, we get Private Party, and they double team Jungle Boy right away. Then we get Daniels and Kazarian, better known as SCU, I guess. Luchasaurus goes for the double choke slam, but SCU duo slip away.
I honestly didn't really know that they were still teaming, if I'm being honest.
Didn't we say while we were watching it, weren't the last, and they actually mentioned it here, right? That if they lose again, then they're done?
Right.
So does this count, do you think?
I don't, they didn't really like, I don't think so.
Doesn't me either. Doesn't seem like it.
Right, it's like, you know, when Ric Flair was doing a similar thing, it's like if he lost in the Royal Rumble, like, that doesn't really
I would
count.
agree.
That's
guess
just
not.
someone throwing him over the ropes.
Right. Bear Country then sent Luchasaurus over the top rope to eliminate him, which was a little bit surprising, I thought. Butcher eliminates Bear Country, who pulls him to ringside and work him over for a minute and then throw him back in the ring. So 14th entrants are Pac, and Rey Fenix. Yay. They quickly...
I can't remember who it was, but sorry.
Okay.
They were like calling him Pac, and I was like... when he first came, I would have been like, yeah, that's what it should be. But now it's just like, because like I know it's Pac, it's annoying.
And I've got it locked in normally.
Right.
That one slipped.
No, now I've
learned.
Now I've got like locked in, so it's kind of annoying.
Yeah. So they quickly eliminate Blade and Quen at the same time. So the final entrances, this is where I thought it kind of picked up when we got down in numbers. We've got Silver, Reynolds are the last team coming in. They perform a double team on Cassidy and eliminate him. Daniels and Kazarian eliminate Butcher.
They should have gone on like an insane spree.
That's kind of what I was hoping that somebody would, right?
Because like they do that in the normal tag matches, so I just could imagine what they could do. Just
a crazy flurry to a whole bunch of guys.
Even at least John Silver just running around, you know?
I agree. Phoenix eliminated Daniels. Reynolds and Jungle Boy fight on the apron, with Jungle Boy eventually eliminating Reynolds. Pac eliminated Kazarian shortly after that.
No, I call him Kaz too.
The final four end up being Silver, Jungle Boy, and Pac and Phoenix. So the advantage clearly there's Death Triangle. They have both of their members still. Silver sort of hangs on after taking a big shot from Phoenix, almost being eliminated. Silver and Pac traded forearm blows in the middle of the ring. Pac get the better of the exchange and tries to eliminate Silver, who does the classic skin the cat maneuver. Silver caught a charging Pac with a boot. Phoenix ran, and then Phoenix runs along the top rope, right, and kicks Silver.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
It was really cool. It looks so easy for him. It's crazy.
Right, and I thought that was a unique elimination.
It was.
Because who else is doing that, right?
You're right. That's not something many people can do.
I thought it was kind of clever, too.
So he runs the rope, kicks Silver. Silver's eliminated.
Well timed.
Pac and Phoenix team up on Jungle Boy, obviously, but Jungle Boy pulls the ropes down when Pac charges at him, and Pac is eliminated, surprisingly. So the match comes down to Phoenix and Jungle Boy, and they actually look really good together.
It was funny because we were both saying, like, Jungle Boy's probably going to beat the odds because that's just what happens usually.
Yeah, seems to be. And I would love to see an extended program with these two, I'm not going to lie. Some good back and forth here, and eventually Phoenix eliminated Jungle Boy to win the match. For me, this was just too long, right? Like, it had some really cool stuff for sure, but there was also some parts that drag. I specifically remember, I think, noting to you after Private Party came in, right? There was like nothing going on for the full 90 seconds or whatever until the next team. It was just guys kind of standing around doing the bare minimum. I didn't get into it until we got down to like the final group of guys, and like this pay-per-view was over 4 hours, and this match was part of the issue. I think they could have pared this down a little bit and made it a bit shorter. I don't know. I thought Jungle Boy and Phoenix stood out. They look awesome. I'm happy with the result because Death Triangle is cool, and a match with them and the Bucks would be amazing.
And I called it. Actually,
You did?
I'll see if
pull up our predictions.
So, okay.
I liked this, I guess, but I did have some issues with it. What about you?
Sorry, I'm just going. You picked Sylvan Reynolds,
right.
So I was right.
I was not right at all.
And we both picked the Bucks. I'm pretty sure.
We
did.
I picked with my heart, and it cost me. So did you.
I liked it a lot more than you did.
I think
but
you did.
I'm a sucker for a good battle royal.
Yep.
And I really wish they would do this in WWE because they also have some good tag teams, especially if it was tri-branded.
Yep.
And I would love a tag team Royal Rumble because I think it would
do love the idea of it. For
right.
Sure.
I just think it's like Royal Rumbles are already awesome, but I think if WWE were to do this, it would just add a completely different element to it, right? Because you have like the temporary alliances, but here it's like they're tag teams, right?
It would force WWE to have some tag teams too if they wanted to do this,
right.
Which would be nice.
Nah, it would probably just be like, US champ's not doing anything, pair him with someone.
Yeah.
But anyways, I liked it. There were some slow spots, but I think when it's a battle royal kind of thing, that's a little more forgivable.
Right. Almost always happens.
But overall, I like that. I think the outcome is smart. We're getting Phoenix versus Matt Jackson on Dynamite, so that's cool.
Yeah. They can keep combining those guys
I think they should have done a Phoenix Nick Jackson rematch from what we got like a while back, but
we'll take what we can get.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Or Pac Nick Jackson, that would be cool.
Any of that combination.
But I liked it overall.
Good.
Cool.
I don't want to make it sound like I didn't like it. I just think on a show that was this long, it could have been condensed a little bit.
Yeah.
Paul White is then interviewed by Dasha in the backstage area. He claims that everybody's been asking him about who AEW has signed, but he's keeping it a secret. He's teasing the big surprise, saying that he doesn't think anyone out there can outwork this guy, is basically what our clue is.
I'm just going to say that's a lie.
Yeah, I guess. It's kind of weird because I think it's supposed to be a hint, but at the same time, that's not a tagline or anything I don't think we associate with who it is, right? Like not right? So
and
this
like
is
honestly this made me think it was a Kurt Angle.
Yeah, in his prime, that's
right,
a true
like,
statement.
That's something people would say or have said about him.
Right.
So that's who
Including
I thought it was. Right?
Yeah.
So
yep.
Or like I know he's probably still with WWE, but like Shawn Michaels, for example.
Yes.
Right? Like obviously he wasn't going to be the one signing, but like he would be one you would associate with that. Or like,
it was supposed to be a clue, but it didn't really feel like it to me.
It's kind of throw off.
And obviously we now know it's him trying to put over the new catchphrase or whatever, but we didn't know that.
Yeah, it's like I feel like this is another one of those random catchphrases they're giving someone. Like no more BS for Paul White. Like, what does that mean? What's that got to do with him?
That one I get is everyone's got to take shots at WWE on their way out, right? So BS is a double entendre for both Big Show and BS.
Oh, okay. Right? So that actually is.
And then he's basically saying he's done with the BS of working.
Well, yeah, they dragged him out to Legends Night just for him to be like
true.
teased by Randy Orton. So.
And I think that some of them do legitimately have an axe to grind, but I just don't like when it's a big part of their character, right? Like, ooh, I'm so mad at my previous company.
No, I didn't even think about the Big Show initials. No, that's actually kind of funny then.
It won you over, eh? That's okay. That's cool. So then we move to the
but this one's dumb.
Women's Championship match, and I think we were both looking forward to this, right?
Yeah.
We were a bit intrigued by Mizunami, and I've always liked Shida.
I don't dislike her. I just find she's been very meh.
And I would agree with you. Outside of the ring, she's not the most exciting, right?
Even in the ring, like, she's had some good performances, but I find they're, like, far and few. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's not...
Few and far between?
Few and far between. Yes, that's what
I think
I'm
that's
looking
reasonable.
For.
Yeah.
Just I find, like, especially on TV, I find like, she's not bad, but I just feel like she's not really showing me enough. Like, she's not bad, but she just seems like she comes across as average a lot, I find.
So we were hoping that because Mizunami was kind of interesting to us, so we're hoping
herself
that's a good combo.
Is not
that exciting.
bad.
Yeah.
But like she's coming across as not as good as she actually is, I find a lot on TV.
Yep.
And just most of the time for me.
So this was a pretty long match. They got a decent amount of time here. I think it was 15-ish or so. So Shida with a Hurricane Rana, followed by a running knee from across the ring somewhere near the beginning. On the floor, Shida grabs a chair and uses it she tries to her standard where she puts it down and jumps off of it to hit a knee strike, but Rio caught her and sent her over the barricade onto some people who were there. I don't quite know. I assume it was wrestlers. They had to be in on it, obviously. Back in the ring quickly with Rio hitting repeated leg drops. Shida got some offense going with the knee and a double knee stomp to the turnbuckle. Shida went up top and connected with a missile drop kick for 2. Rio with the, it's hard to say. Not Rio.
Okay,
not
so
Riho.
yeah,
Rio.
Yeah, so you gotta, whenever we're talking about Riho, we gotta be like Riho.
Yes, because Rio is and Riho, it's awful close for me.
It's just it's
Rio.
So
Rio with the clothesline over the top onto the ramp. The two battle on the ramp. With Shida eventually hitting a crunchy, right? Which is who does that? Trent.
I don't even know what that is.
She hit a crunchy on the ramp. Remember, Trent did it on the car or the truck in.
Is it like the Deadeye?
No.
Is it that move?
No. I don't think so. Anyways.
The problem, with Mizunami's name is, so Rio sounds like Riho, right? But
yes.
then Mizunami's really long to write every time.
And to say 50 times throughout this. I'll trip up on that for sure.
It's kind of difficult.
Shida with the suplex back into the ring for a 2 count. Strike exchange. Shida delivering a forearm to knock down Rio. And then we get Shida with the knee. Rio responding with chops and multiple clotheslines. Running clothesline by Rio, the sit-out slam off the shoulders for a 2 count. Shida with a running forearm, then a knee to the face. Rio back up quickly with a forearm. Shida hits another running knee. There were a lot of running knees in this match for sure. But she can't quite make the cover now because that's her finisher, right? What's it called?
The Tamashi.
Tamashi, I always forget.
But it's like kind of different. It's usually like they're sometimes seated or on the knee. It's like kind of like
there's variations of it, right?
Right, but I find it's usually along the lines of Daniel Bryan's knee.
Yes.
It's usually kind of like that.
She does some different ones in this match, I think, coming up.
Yeah, I think they're like different. Then usually the Tamashi tends to be the Daniel Bryan knee.
Right. Shida and Rio took turns exchanging forearms, elbow shots. Rio hit a belly-to-belly overhead suplex that I kind of liked. Rio hits a spear and a leg drop like the one she used to beat Nyla Rose, but Shida kicks out of it because she's the champion. Shida with a jumping kick, German suplex before Rio hits a clothesline to the back of Shida's head. Shida gets a little bit later on a Michinoku driver, a knee and a forearm. Then another running knee to the back of Rio's head. Falcon arrow by Shida for a 2 count. Shida runs the ropes but gets caught by a big clothesline by Rio. Shida then, which I like this little bit here, she actually goes to an eye poke and tries an inside cradle. So it kind of like, I guess we should have mentioned, right? The story we watched, what was the show, the hype show we watched called?
Countdown
to
Revolution.
We watched that, and it was basically this idea that Rio, they'd faced each other before, and Rio made the comment. It was never in 100 years would Shida beat her, and that Shida has only at best gotten draws.
And they were on the same team at the 6-woman Joshi people tag at Double or Nothing. I think it was them and Riho.
Right.
Riho.
So they did a good job in a short time of sort of getting some history to these two. Then they have a whole bunch.
Right, and it's kind of interesting,
so it helps.
like all these Japan people, how much history they have. It's kind of cool.
And it helps that Rio's basically like, she's never beaten me. She doesn't have a chance. So yeah, I kind of like that we kind of knew the backstory a little bit. So we get the eye poke. Kushida now has to do whatever she needs to do to try and win this finally. Shida with another running knee, but Rio counters with an inside cradle. Then we get an enziguri by Shida for a 2 count. Another knee strike from Shida for 2. And then she hits like a kind of a corkscrew knee, I guess, and eventually does get the pinfall from that. So I wasn't enjoying this match at first. I don't know, like I was having trouble getting into it. Some of Rio's antics were, even though it makes her different, it was bugging me a bit. But then I thought actually commentary helped me because they pointed out, they said, she's doing that because she doesn't respect Shida, and she can, right? Like she's going to beat this girl no matter what, so she can goof around a little bit. And I was like, okay, that makes more sense, right? Because it's supposed to be, at first I'm like, this is supposed to be some serious grudge match, and she's still dancing. And also her chops, the infinite chops, when they basically just become like a gentle slap, I found those were a little bit. But anyways, so then it went into another gear, I thought. There maybe were too many near falls. There were so many throughout this, but the signature knee strike is cool. I like it. They could have shaved a couple minutes off this match too, maybe, but I really enjoyed this match. It was hard hitting, kind of like a strong style match, and I thought they both looked really good. And again, it helped that story of this is Rio's disrespect, sort of, and now Shida has kind of gotten her win finally. And I really ended up liking this match. How about you?
Yeah, it was good. It kind of like the tag match picked up towards the end. It was a little long. I thought I kind of had some higher expectations for this match, so maybe there's also that. But overall, I liked it. I think Mizunami maybe. I want to see a little more of her. I think she should stick around if she can.
Yeah, I don't know what her status is, but I would like to see her somewhere too. So I think at this point in the show, my favorite match is probably still the opener.
Yeah.
For me.
Either that or the Battle Royal.
Yeah, you like the Battle. I definitely wouldn't say that. So yeah, at this point, that's where I am. All right, so let's move into the next match, which is Miro and Sabian versus Chuck and Orange Taylor. So we get sort of a backstage of Chuck and Orange Cassidy.
And you were looking for this. You were looking forward to this.
I was.
Right? Yeah.
So they're to be interviewed, and Miro and Kip Sabian attack them. Basically, they slam Cassidy into some equipment cases, and then Miro sends Chuck into a door, and his head kind of nicely smashes through a glass pane that's at the top of the door, sort of. Miro just kind of looks into the camera and says, play my screams, kind of play my music. And yeah, this is what I want from him, right? He's just a monster. He's attacking them. There's no joking around.
I think they've made the mistake of already making him somewhat of a normal person.
Right.
Because Rusev was like, he's like kind of the foreign menace.
Yes.
And they've already kind of gone the opposite of that route. So
it's hard to recover.
Even if they were to make it similar to Rusev, it wouldn't be the same. It probably wouldn't be as good.
Yes. But getting away from the intentional comedy is good for me.
They're at least doing that, yeah. But I just think they've already probably gone in the wrong direction a little too much.
Might take a while to get us to forget that kind of stuff. Hopefully.
Right, and it's not even like the bad comedy. It's just like, I don't know, he's not going to be Rusev, which is good, but also like Rusev was good. So,
Rusev was awesome. Yeah, for sure. So they're about, after the attack, it is Miro basically, so it's just Chuck Taylor right now, right? Orange is still stuck backstage after the attack. So Miro tosses Taylor into the ring, and Chuck is bleeding from the arm because of the glass he went into. I don't know if it was real or not, but it looked like it made sense because his arm did kind of smash through it with his head. So anyways, Miro's telling him that he had an option to get out of this, and Miro told Chuck he'll give him the option to make this stop now, like basically saying, I just say you quit, I guess. Taylor calls the referee over and tells him to ring the bell, and the match starts as Chuck Taylor is defiant here. So there is some action. Eventually, Orange Cassidy makes his way to the ring, recovering from the attack pre-match, and he hits Miro with an orange punch that actually I didn't think looked great because of the camera angle, if I remember correctly. It didn't look...
I don't remember too much, but I know what you're talking about.
And the problem is Miro had to sell it for a really long time. But anyways...
where he was like staggering like crazy?
Yes, and then he was out for a while. So Taylor at one point looks like he almost has the match won with a pretty nice looking pile driver. But Miro finally has recovered from the orange punch, and he makes the save. Cassidy again hit Miro with an orange punch, but Penelope Ford is up on the apron causing a distraction. And it looks like he's completely aware of what he's doing, right? I think is what the point is. And he just shoves Cassidy into her and knocks her pretty far into the barricade.
And they were like, oh, it was an accident. But it's not even like one of those where it looks like an accident. It looked like he just shoved Cassidy. Like, he could see Penelope was there, I guess, right? Like,
yeah, I think the story is he knows and he didn't care. And I think this is the start of...
Yeah, either that or like Orange Cassidy's perfectly blocking
maybe
Ford, and so he can't see Ford, but that would also not make sense because then he would have to wonder why is Cassidy standing there.
I took it more as Miro didn't care.
Yeah, either that or it just makes no sense.
It's his new attitude and whatever, right? And he's just going full heel, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. So Miro takes out Taylor, then locks in the game over to get the submission victory. So for me, this was basically like a filler match. I don't think they needed this on a 4-hour show again, over 4-hour show. The pandemic, that's the one thing, right? WWE shows have gotten a lot shorter and takeovers are always short. This could have easily been a Dynamite match. I do like that Miro was more aggressive and violent. And I think that he took Penelope Ford out on purpose, or he didn't care at least, and I like that. I didn't really enjoy the match, but I didn't expect to either. And it looks like this is kind of the beginning of Miro splitting from this group, I think, anyways. And I think that's something he needs to do. So did not think it needed to be here. Did not think it was great. What about you?
Yeah, I like the Super Bad Death Squad, which was Sabian and Jimmy Havoc, better than this, which is
weird to say.
A low bar because like that team, 1, didn't do much and 2, didn't last long. Although I remember they had like a good no DQ tag.
They kind of fit together better somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, because they're both like British or whatever.
Not even I don't know. There's just something Miro doesn't fit with those two. For me.
But the match was kind of like almost a non-match because like it was like half handicap, then like
it was
a third of an actual tag match. So I don't know. I didn't love it. The storyline seems to be continuing, so yay.
And that's the problem, right? They've built this quote unquote, and we just haven't cared. And then it wasn't a great match either. So,
I agree. This should have been a Dynamite match
easily.
It was probably my lowest point for me.
I think so too. This was at this point it's my low point. I don't think it gets any lower for me after this. But anyways, so then Chris Jericho and MJF are being interviewed backstage by Marvez. Santana Ortiz are there as well. Jericho gets mad for Marvez framing the question about they failed in their title shot.
Yeah, he's like, I never failed at anything, right? Or whatever.
He said they're like a great army. They need to change their battle plans in the middle of a war. Jericho said that this Wednesday there will be some changes in the Inner Circle, with Chris calling it the Inner Circle War Council. MJF said there's been he's been thinking a whole lot about this and thinks a change will make the Inner Circle a whole lot better. I'm
wondering what this is leading to because I honestly don't.
I think eventually the MJF is going to be trying to seize power from Jericho. I feel like it's a bit too soon, but it almost feels like that. And even
No, I agree.
The expression that MJF was making during this, he kind of looked like he was trying to convey that he was annoyed with Jericho. So I don't know if this is him. I hope they don't do it quickly, though, because I think it's a cool storyline and we kind of have seen it coming, but doesn't mean it's a bad idea and they should race through it, right? So I don't know. I am getting a little tired of them naming their little, like, they can't just have a promo or an interview. It's a press conference or it's a...
I don't mind it, because at least it kind of can give you an idea of what you're getting.
And it usually doesn't disappoint. It's kind of just me being a crotchety old man, probably, you know?
I would assume so, yeah.
Nice. So anyways, we then move into the big money match, which I just want to say right here, I think this stipulation's stupid, if I'm being honest. I just don't...
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just because Matt's a money hungry.
It is, but I don't understand why Hangman went through all that trouble to trick him into this and then was just like, okay, I'll put up my money too.
I guess because he's a good guy.
But he doesn't come across as like a super confident babyface, because that would be one argument, right? He is supreme confidence, but he's not. His character is that he questions himself. So anyways, whatever.
I think it's maybe also because he's like a babyface and he's like... to shut up Matt Hardy, maybe?
He's willing to do it, I don't know. Because he already had him to sign a contract. It's not like he had to agree to it. He has a signed contract.
True.
So why did you go through all the tricking him if you could have just said, hey man, let's put up your whatever first quarter against mine?
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyways, so I don't like that right away. So it's Matt Hardy versus Hangman Adam Page. Page sort of starts off fast early looking for a buckshot lariat, but Hardy rolled out of the ring to avoid it. Hardy then focuses attention on Page's hand, right? And this seems smart because this is stuff that he can still do if it's effective and people enjoy it. It's like nothing that's going to hurt him, right? So he's working the hand to try and neutralize the buckshot, I guess, going forward. Page continues to throw right hands despite the damage, kind of fighting on his instinct and forgetting in the heat of the moment that his hand is broken, damaged at least, I guess. Hardy tried to steal a count-out victory by hitting a twist of fate on the outside, which actually looked pretty good, but Page beats the referee's count just barely. Page then hit a lot of his standard big moves, right? We get the moonsault off the top rope to the floor. We get the top rope crossbody. But Hardy just sort of keeps firing back. Page appeared to have won the match with the Deadeye, but Private Party, of course, ran to the ring, distracting the referee, and then jump in the ring.
Stupid Private Party.
Right. Page takes out both of them with buckshot lariat. But the buckshot lariat is countered into a side effect and a twist of fate for 2. That was actually a nice near fall because I was kind of like, no, really? Because there's no way he's winning, but...
I almost there was a way he could have countered into a twist of fate.
Yeah, because he didn't, you're right.
Would have been... I think, when Hangman goes... So he flips over, right? He goes for the lariat, and Matt could, kind of grab the arm, maybe, wrench on it, or, kind of, do the twisty thingy, and then, get him in the front face lock, and then do a twist of fate. So I feel like that would have made a better near fall.
Because this was just a cutter, right? Basically.
No, the side effect.
Oh, yeah, the side effect, yeah.
But, because that would be his finisher,
yes.
Right? So...
It would have been nicer. But it was still a decent near fall here.
No, it's still good.
The Dark Order then run to the ring to take out Private Party, and they toss Page onto the ring apron where he flipped, so they sort of stop him from falling out of the ring and push him back in, right, as a group. And that's, of course, when he flips and hits the buckshot lariat for the 3 count, as expected. Post-match, Page celebrates with the Dark Order guys, and then they sort of talk him into a group hug, which led to cheers from the crowd. Yes, there was a crowd there. Dark Order had a couple of beers for him as well, so he drank some beer to celebrate this win. I love Adam Page, don't get me wrong, but I don't think this needed to be on here either. It felt kind of filler again. It wasn't a bad match, but I don't think it was good either. I guess solid is the word I would say, which I'm not looking for on the AEW pay-per-view necessarily. I'm not sure how much more Matt Hardy singles matches with Spotlight I need to see, and I just hope Page moves on to bigger and better things. Although I'm not worried because I think they know that he's a megastar whenever they want to pull the trigger, right? Like they know that they have Page is just sort of waiting for his opportunity. I don't think that I think they're aware of what they have with him, so I'm not super worried about it.
I would hope they do.
And I feel like the inclusion of these last couple matches that AEW feels they need to justify the hefty price tag for their pay-per-views, right? Because if you think about it, WrestleMania is $14 or something because you just have to get the network, right? And you get it. So I don't know. These are expensive, and I feel like they just tried to jam a few extra matches in.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I didn't love it. There was a couple good near falls, like the buckshot counter.
Yeah.
I didn't like Matt Hardy kicking out the Deadeye. That's not very nice.
That's true. That move is pretty sweet.
Yeah. But overall it's fine.
Yeah.
I think I liked it better than the tag match that we didn't really like.
Yeah, I did too. I did.
So
yes,
there's that.
It is not the low point.
Not a strong part.
Right.
Per se.
I feel it's the pay-per-view starts to pick up again after this for me. I think you did too, right? There was just a little more energy coming out of it. It's my phrase that I got tired of the fastest, face of the Revolution ladder match. So we have Max Caster, Lance Archer with Jake the Snake, obviously, Scorpio Sky, Penta, and Cody Rhodes.
Can you put in a drumroll sound effect?
And I can put in a drumroll sound effect.
Drumroll.
Should be there. And go ahead.
Ethan Page.
Woo. So I heard somewhere that there were some reports. I heard
nothing, but I got spoiled.
No, not this. What I told you earlier, that apparently on the Spanish broadcast, they accidentally revealed the other mystery person coming up and not Ethan Page.
Which was funny.
So I don't know if that's true or not, but I did hear that.
You said
somewhere.
You heard stuff about this? I heard nothing.
I had heard somebody speculate Page. It wasn't one of the more common ones, and it wasn't me, but I had heard somebody.
Did you hear anything else? I'm curious.
No, not really, other than
I'm happy for him. He's great, so this is good for him.
He is good.
I think he'll be used great here.
I'm hoping. I kind of was saying to you, I think he would benefit from a tag team again, but
I think they need to get Josh Alexander over here.
I would love that.
the North in AEW would be amazing. Not only are they great, but that'd be some Canadian representation in the tag division.
Although we just saw 15 tag teams being trucked out there too, so I don't know. It's pretty packed. But anyways, again, this is where things kind of picked up for me. Paige is revealed as the mystery opponent, and this match was full of crazy spots, right? One of the big ones, not in any particular order, just sort of Penta hit Rhodes with a destroyer on a ladder that was suspended between the ring.
That was awesome.
Of course, that led to Cody being escorted to the entrance where he was being checked by trainers, and he had to do the whole like beat the odds and come back to the ring. It just felt like this was another attention. How can I get the most attention in this crazy match, right? So he's on the ramp getting checked by the doctors and etc. I don't know.
swear he's standing in the tunnel for like forever.
Archer
Oh wait, tell them about the tunnel thingy.
Oh yeah, that if you notice, baby faces come out the right side, heels come out the left side,
Cody comes out the middle.
So my theory is underway. He's not a baby face, people. Mm-hmm. He's not.
Yeah, he literally comes out like they got like a special entrance for him.
Right.
Right.
So I think that he's a tweener, I guess. I don't know. On his way, maybe. So at one point, Archer threw Scorpio Sky through a ladder on the outside of the ring and just smashed the ladder.
Oh, yeah. He like kneed him off or something, and then he just fell through the ladder, which I thought was dumb considering Archer could choke slam him through it or something. Or like, imagine he had done a blackout.
Well, yeah, that's...
Oh, who did he black out on the ladder?
He did. Awesome. Was that Caster? Caster took a couple really hard bumps in this.
I think, no, it was Caster, because I remember you saying like Caster's taking a beating.
He is. Archer also, or somebody, and that's who it was, I guess, was powerbomb. No, because somebody powerbombed Sky, I think, onto a ladder, and it slammed shut on Archer. Remember that? I think that was Scorpio Sky. Sorry, we were kind of... Notes are very sparse at points here.
I didn't take notes.
Anyways, Rhodes eventually makes his way back to the ring, and he's using his belt as a weapon, and then he hits Paige with the crossroads.
Oh, yeah, such a babyface thing to do. Comes back in the match and starts
with a weapon,
beating people with a belt.
Right. Rhodes gets hit with a suplex off the apron by Archer and an elbow off the ladder by Caster that looked pretty good, right? Like it was just a basic elbow, but it looked pretty solid.
Oh, yeah.
The one that was to the back that they kept saying was to the shoulder, even though they replayed it in slow-mo and it's literally the middle of his back. But anyways. Roberts gets in the ring at one point and hits Paige with his short arm clothesline after Paige took out Archer.
It looks like, I know he's old, but like he just pulls him into his arm and then he has to sell it, which like
it's just a nostalgia
I understand
thing. It looks bad.
He's old, but like
it's not good. And then Penta super kicks him that's what he gets.
That was funny. Yeah, I don't know why it had to be Paige taking this.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, that's a pretty good point,
to
right?
Be fair,
the brand new guy.
I also didn't want to take Penta taking it though, so
I imagine Paige was like, "I'll take it. That'll be so cool. I can take a short arm clothesline." If you know what I mean. If you grew up with wrestling and stuff, it's probably a bit of an honor.
Yeah, no, I see what you mean.
The other thing I wanted to point out, just as I was about to say the finish, is the thing that was hanging above the ring. How would you describe it?
Gold donut.
So, like, it was Sonic the Hedgehog. It's right?
It is. Yeah, they were calling it the brass ring. It's literally just a giant gold ring.
It was a bit ridiculous. I don't know. It was not the coolest thing. Like, it's hard to look cool. It's like,
remember when Cage won the casino ladder?
Yeah, and it's a chip, wasn't it?
And it was a giant, it was a giant casino chip.
So, Scorpio Sky ultimately wins the match, taking out Cody Rhodes, basically. He had taken a lot of injury on his shoulder, apparently. He shoves Rhodes off the ladder and grabs the giant brass ring. He is Sonic the Hedgehog. He gets the ring. It's hard to look cool clutching that thing, man, because it's a pretty emotional thing for him, but it kind of looked ridiculous to me.
It's like he's like, yeah, I won Sonic, or I got a big donut, or...
I thought this match was fun.
It was a pickup, for sure.
It was. There were some really cool spots, but I have to say, this company's put on some ladder matches I've liked better, top to bottom, I think. Just ones that have furthered more stories and developed more stories or introduced stories better than this one. But this one was fun, don't get me wrong. I particularly thought Caster, Penta, and Scorpio Sky were the highlights for me. Archer had some cool stuff as well. Cody's involvement kind of annoyed me because he obviously booked himself as like, you're going to take the biggest spot. You're going to do the hero overcoming an injury. They're not going to be able to keep you out of this match even though you're seriously injured. And his time getting checked on after the destroyer on the ladder, right, was kind of distracting a little bit. Overall, really fun. Wasn't amazing. The Sonic ring thing was cheesy. Sky winning I like Scorpio Sky.
I think there was better options. I don't dislike him, but
I agree. So what I'm
wish
saying, I
someone
think
else
you'd
should've
probably
won.
agree, is they could have built him better leading into this, right? Like he
Yeah,
just
it's
had
like
1 week of like, oh, he's heel
heel
now.
commentary, right?
Right.
And like he was one of the guys who was just boom in it, right?
Yep.
So then like he got a qualifying match. I think he would have actually benefited from that.
I do
And I
too.
even think Paige debuting and winning would be cool.
I thought that once it was him that there was a decent chance he was going to win, right? I thought they might.
I was really hoping for Penta.
But the fact that also that Scorpio Sky is facing Alan on Wednesday, like the very next show, does not.
Right, there's no time to really build.
No, right. So I would love to have time for more vignettes or something from Sky where he's getting over this character a bit more. But it makes me feel that there's not much chance he's beating Alan, right? And then it's just back to the back burner.
Right.
I don't know.
I mean, he can have a good match, but like
Yeah, it feels like they're setting up a competitive one-off match, right? And then it's Scorpio's back to wherever he was, which isn't great because I do like him. I think he's pretty cool. All right, so then we get the reveal of the mystery signing, and it is Christian Cage.
Woo,
so he's been
the drum roll.
Recently cleared to return to the ring, right? He did
so
in the Royal Rumble.
I've seen multiple things. So at first it was like, no, he's signed to WWE. Oh, no, wait, he's not. And he's had talks with AEW.
Yeah.
And I called it as well.
You did, actually. That is true.
But I think we both picked Penta.
Yes, we did. Yep, we did. I'm almost positive I did.
Actually, while you're talking, I'm just going to double check.
So
this.
Christian Cage, of course, as he'll be known here in AEW, makes his way to the ring.
Yeah, that's his Impact moniker, right?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, we got 2 Cages now. He's got a feud with Brian Cage.
Right? 2 Cages, 2 Pages. Whoa. The Page and Cage connection. They could battle over the name and have a huge feud. The Page and Cage connection.
Book it, AEW. Book it.
So he basically, all he does is sign his contract, reveal a t-shirt that says outwork everyone, and then leave.
I hate that. That's so stupid because he literally can't.
I'm not a fan of this signing. I'm going to be honest. It's nothing against Christian. I used to love him, but this is a borderline problem for AEW now. There's already...
Right, but at least they're not, like, Paul White is not doing much in Sting's, at least just doing a cinematch.
But there's already way too much talent for one show on this roster.
I think Sting is pretty awful.
This guy's a 47 years old. I don't think he's really going to move the needle and get them attention. Guys like just off the top of my head, like Hobbs and Helico, I never see them on TV doing anything in any matches, but Christian's going to show up and eat up more time that I wish would go to somebody that I haven't watched wrestle for decades.
Even Uno and Grayson, they don't.
So like Jericho, Sting, Hardy,
Scorpio
Big Show, Christian, there's probably more. How many are we going to sign?
Yeah, Matt Hardy.
So I'm not a fan. I had trouble, like we have problems with with Edge taking up time in WWE. We'd probably have to have problems with this. I think this is somewhat
interesting, but I can't really not take issue with this after my heavy criticism on Edge.
And that's with WWE having 6 hours a week of TV. These guys have 2 hours.
That's true. There's
TV.
Also that, right? And
yeah, that's part of it.
I think Edge was fine as a nostalgia thing, and then now I think this year it's really gone too far.
Yeah.
And I think then I really don't want Christian to do much. He is going to be taking up time.
Yes. And it's not that I don't like him, because I do, but this isn't the time for him. The time for him was 10 to 20 years ago.
Right. And it's good for him to come up. Honestly, I would be fine with this if it's in WWE. I mean, that's not even true. But I mean more fine with this. I'd be more fine with this.
Yeah. So good for him, I guess. He's probably getting paid, so whatever. Good Canadian boy, right?
Yeah.
All right. So let's head into one of the things I was really excited to talk about, actually, and we will do that now. So that is the street fight with Sting and Darby Allin versus Brian Cage and Ricky Starks.
Yeah.
And this was a cinematch.
Yeah.
And if you're not a regular listener of this show, we have not been a fan.
We
Jack,
hate Sting
especially.
and we hate cinematches.
Yeah, so I generally don't like cinematches, Jack, either. And not a big fan of Sting.
I would like to point, this was in a ring, in a warehouse. So this is neither a street, and for like some of it, not really a fight.
So...
Oh, also, there was a gang of hoodlums.
There was. So let's talk about this.
Let's just, like, take a second to... this hoodlum thing has gone too far. Like, geez, you had, like, a bunch of people in Sting masks. And they're like, oh, here come the hoodlums. Like, are you kidding me?
There was some cheesiness to this, for sure.
And also, Darby's paint looked dumb because he did half his own paint and half Sting's paint.
Right.
Of course, Sting did that, too, because they are so similar.
They are. They're exactly the same. We talked about this. This is part of my problem. The simple fact is they both have face paint, right? Sting was, I've watched Sting since forever.
And they're both
He was
hoodlums.
like the extroverted bodybuilder, like, and now it's suddenly he was the quiet recluse who hid up in the rafters, right? Like that was his character later, but anyways, they're very, very different people. But they paint their face, so they're kindred spirits, I guess. So anyways, this street fight, so we get a scene where Brian Cage and Ricky Starks sort of drive up to some abandoned warehouse kind of building. I did think
kind of Starks' vest looked kind of weird because on the back it just says Absolute. And
but then he didn't wrestle with it, right?
He
was
did
just in
a little
t-shirt,
bit.
Did he?
Because I remember then he was in a tank top, but he was it looked kind of cheesy.
I didn't mind it. The thing that did annoy me was the announce team having to talk over top of this, right?
I kind of understand them talking when the match is actually starting because it honestly might have helped a bit, but like when there's the entrance, here come the hoodlums.
They were sort of describing what was happening, and it didn't fit at all.
Especially when the hoodlums came in.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed.
Cage and Starks get into the building, and there's a ring along with a referee in an AEW shirt. Darby Allin is then shown on a skateboard in the street, and then sort of an army of these hoodlums, as you were talking about, are shown walking into the building. Sting's driving an old pickup truck, I think, while Allen's on his skateboard.
Yeah, he kind of like hooks on the back.
And Back to the Future style, he grabs onto the back of the truck.
That's what it was. Yes.
So he rolls into the warehouse at the same time with Sting. So they walk in to the ring with matching face paint, and their group of hoodlums are surrounding the ring. And
I was just like, deja vu, Dad?
And actually, I really liked the production value of this. Like, I thought everything looked kind of cool. I thought him skateboarding and grabbing on the back of the truck, there was some cheesiness there, but it didn't bother me. Like, I actually thought it looked really cool, right? The way they shot it clearly put some money into it.
I just kind of laughed when the hoodlums surrounded the ring because
it was very EC3 Moose, which was one of my worst matches of the year nominations, worst everything.
Which I laughed.
Yeah, so it did really look a lot like that. It was.
I was kind of worried, if I'm being honest, because the hoodlums and then they're surrounding the ring. I was just like,
and I already didn't really want to see this match. I'd just finished an episode saying I would have literally anybody else in this instead of Sting, like even one of the gun kids. I would take.
I would take even Christian rather.
But let's see what happened. So Allin right away basically tries jumping off the wall onto Cage.
That was kind of cool, because like the one side of the ring, the couple side of the ring or whatever, they're like basically right against the wall. Yeah. So that's pretty cool, I will admit.
And he gets caught in a suplex by Cage. Cage looked amazing in this, but anyways, we'll get to it.
So credit to them for actually being smart about it.
Cage stomped on Sting and Starks joins in on the fight. Cage destroyed a whole bunch of hoodlums at ringside. He looked amazing doing this, just throwing people around. Looks like he was built for this kind of match, right? Especially if you can get all these perfect camera angles and all these cool shots, because the guy looks like an action figure throwing people around, right? So Cage drove Allin back first into the ring post and then sent him rib first into a steel railing. Multiple cameras sort of filming from different angles and spots, because this almost breaks into, you said it during the match, right? It almost became two singles matches going on at different areas of this warehouse at the same time, which was actually pretty cool. I thought the production was awesome on this. So back in the ring, Sting with two clotheslines on Starks and a stinger splash, and then he press slams Starks onto the turnbuckle. Cage teases a powerbomb on Allin, but Allin fights back, and Cage sends Allin back first into the wall instead. He then press slams Allin through a doorway, right? And the doors kind of like break off the hinges and fall.
Yeah, that looked kind of cheesy.
They were clearly set up to do that. But
right, I didn't love that because like doors don't break that easily. Especially when it's so little force. Like if he had driven them through it.
Yeah.
Like, but then the doors would probably just like break open and not fall down.
And swing on their hinges.
Right?
Cool visual, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, but it just doesn't make sense.
Meanwhile, Sting's hitting another stinger splash on Starks, then a running clothesline that sends Starks out of the ring. Sting has his bat as they're sort of battling now, and Starks tells him he's nothing without the bat. So Sting sort of throws it like
up to like a window?
Yeah, into like an upper...
Remember that.
Right. Upper level of the warehouse, kind of.
Yeah, remember that, guys.
And then he sends Starks into a brick wall repeatedly, and then sort of looks like he's walking over towards Cage.
Yeah, Starks looks like an idiot being beat up by an old man, I must say.
A little bit.
Whereas Cage was looking good, Starks looks like an idiot.
Speaking of Cage looking good, he has Allin in a suplex position.
Walking up the stairs.
Walks up a flight of stairs.
Which was pretty
crazy.
Cool.
That looked amazing. He then suplexes Allin onto a trash can at sort of the top of the stairs, which also looked really cool. Sting saved Alan from Cage, then hit him with a. Then Alan hit a running dropkick. Starks tackled Alan into a wall. Alan shoved a steel barrel into Sting. He sort of swings the barrel
sliding
around.
really good. I thought
it was clearly empty. It was moving
right. I
real
thought
easy.
it had wheels on it.
It looked like it did. That's why I said, why is it? Or it was like greased up or something.
Right?
Like in the office where they try and slide the paper boxes across the floor.
Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe either that or I honestly thought it had wheels, but then like it kind of tipped over and there were no wheels to be found.
Yeah, so he kind of hit Sting's leg with it at one point. Cage went to attack Sting, who moved and hit Starks with, I think it was a trash can lid. Alan jumped on Cage's back, but Cage obviously powers out of it. We then get as always, the fire extinguisher usage by Sting to save Alan from Cage. And then Alan hit Cage with, I think it was a glass bottle or something he smashed over his head, right? I'm not quite sure what it was.
Yeah, it was like a glass bottle or something.
Alan and Sting hit a double team slam on Cage through a table. Starks and Alan strike exchange, and Alan's charged, and Starks hit a knee to the ribs. Starks charges in, Alan avoids it, and sends Starks into a pole, and then he basically hits the coffin drop onto Starks.
Onto like the platform, the padding kind of thingy?
Yeah, is that when he went through it? Or that was...
that kind of like padding deal?
Yeah.
It was weird.
It wasn't... Yeah, it was interesting. And then, I don't...
the mystery attacker.
This made me laugh. Because Hobbs, it's clearly him. He shows up in an orange mask, which he takes
so
off. And
one, it's a big muscular dude helping Team Taz. So, and Cage is already in the match. So who do you think it is? Two, you can clearly see his like lower forearms, and you can see he's black. So obviously it's Hobbs.
And then he takes the mask off in 3 seconds, anyways.
It's Hobbs? I had no idea.
So it was kind of a bizarre choice. It made me laugh a little bit.
It was weird.
And then Hook, the son of Taz, is there with his shirt off, hitting people.
Right. He doesn't have a mask. Why doesn't he have a
Right.
mask?
He had no mask.
Yeah, like what's up with that?
You got to earn the mask, all right? You got to earn 5 seconds of mask time. Cage drives Sting back
TV
first
time.
into the wall and then whips him into a barricade. Hook's punching Alan and Cage joins in at this point. Hobbs and Cage take Alan one by the ankles and the other by the wrists, and they swing him and release him through
I saw that glass window and I was like, someone's going through that. I thought someone would like be speared.
It was cool.
I thought like Starks would maybe spear someone.
Because remember, it was leaning against the wall, and as they threw him through it, the camera angle switched to a camera behind the window.
It was really cool. I thought it would be some sort of spear move.
Yeah,
but
it was an
it was so cool.
Interesting spot.
For sure.
Cage hits Sting in the back with a shovel as Alan throws the bat back down to Sting now because they have weapons. So remember,
so told you to remember
fair
that.
Now.
Yeah.
Yep. So the bat comes back. He breaks the bat over the back of Cage. I thought that looked kind of cheesy as well. And then we get this whole time you can see there's this giant sort of platform spanning, I don't know, a big hole in
railing.
This. Yeah, so
I
clearly...
thought it was like there was another floor below it, but then like it doesn't look like that.
Yeah, so Alan ends up jumping off a higher level of the building and hits Cage with an elbow drop through some sort of platform. It looks like it kind of falls to a story below.
Right, but then it's not even that low because like you could see it clearly, like they landed on something, so there wasn't a floor below. It was just kind of like some sort of kind of little pit, which was weird.
I thought it looked okay. You knew it was coming.
It was cool, but like I thought there was like then they'd be on a deep fall after, you know.
No, it wasn't so much. Like it looked like it was going to drop a full story or something, right? But it did not.
No.
Sting and Starks are in the ring again. Starks pulls the turnbuckle pad off when Sting went for a splash, and he hits the turnbuckle. Starks then hits his spear on Sting for a near fall.
Starks to get disqualified.
And he gets a low blow on Sting. Sting escapes a powerbomb attempt and then hit a sunset flip for a 2. Sting blocked...
It looked, edited.
Yeah, I think this was.
I don't know if he actually did.
I heard that this was filmed that day, though, so they didn't have much time to do.
I heard that...
But I don't know.
Oh, no, sorry, no. I thought that the sunset flip looked edited.
Oh, you did? I don't remember.
Just like because I don't think Sting would actually do that. And
stunt double.
Yeah, I remember you said that. It just like I don't know, looked
not great. Slow mo.
Just looked like it kind of there was like a cut to a different angle. Maybe it's just that, but like I don't know. It looked kind of
could be.
You know.
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, the dude's 60, whatever. It's definitely possible.
Which is why he should not be wrestling.
He then blocks a back elbow and hits the Scorpion Death Drop. Not wrestling. He just KO'd Ricky Starks for the win.
Wow.
So I know that I don't like cinematches. I don't like Sting. I really enjoyed this match. I have to tell you. I think you did too. The way it was shot, the production value was amazing. Cage looked like an absolute monster. I thought he got the most out of this match, to be honest. Alan got in some of his usual crazy stuff. This kept Sting safe, but it still looked cool. I thought it was really well put together. There were cheesy parts for sure, the skateboard ride in, the back breaking, but I was thoroughly impressed and entertained by this match, and I did not expect to be. So I'm saying that this will be sort of the example going forward, that our podcast will give credit where credit's due, right? Because I did not think I would have much good to say about this. I really enjoyed this match. Sting's done nothing that I've cared about since he came, but I thought this match was pretty awesome. I have to be honest. I enjoyed it.
I really liked it. There were some cool spots. Like, I liked Starks being yeeted through the glass. I liked his big elbow drop. I'm trying to think. I liked the coffin drop that he did. And Cage looked great. I loved them just carrying Darby Allin.
That was cool. And him taking out all of the extras was pretty cool too. He looked awesome.
I did enjoy it. I liked it way more than I thought I would, because I was expecting to rag on it forever.
Yep, I was expecting to be excited to talk about it for the exact opposite reasons. Right. So no, I thought they did an amazing job. And if this is how you're going to use Sting, I still don't think we need him on Dynamite every single week.
I don't think we need him at all.
But this was cool, I have to say.
I feel like this could have been good with anyone else. I don't think Sting was
That's
essential.
true. No, he wasn't like a key part of this at all. Though it's just the concept of this match was cool, and they executed it really well, I thought. All right, so let's get into the main event of the evening, which it's hard not to just... I was telling Jack, like, I just wanted to jump to the very end of this show, obviously, because it was their big moment.
If you don't know, then I don't know why.
You probably know by now, but let's talk about the main event, which was the exploding barbed wire death match for the AEW World Championship with Kenny Omega defending against Jon Moxley.
Just a reminder of the rules. So you got 3 sides of the ring with exploding barbed wire.
Obviously.
So if you go into those will set off a small explosion.
And the side adjacent the ramp is not.
Right.
And
so then they can enter the ring, and then that can also bounce off the ropes a bit, right? So then it gives them some stuff.
Exactly.
To do,
Makes sense.
And then you also got like a barbed wire triple hell thingy on
the landmines.
Yeah.
Which is just...
And it's like a barbed wire board kind of bed lying down, and like there's explosives with that too. And then there's barbed wire boards in a couple corners as well.
And then, so can you tell me, because they really remind us this, what will happen if this match goes 30 minutes, please?
So there's a time limit.
Allegedly, that we never see.
Right.
Until there's a minute left.
Right. And then a big death bomb thing will go off, and it will kill them.
We're not sure that the audience is safe. If they're far enough away, the commentary team's worried that they might not be far enough away at one point.
Going to set off
so this is going to be big stuff. So this really,
so it's just going to set off like it's a doomsday device.
That is correct.
To put it lightly.
Yep. So it's basically, if the match isn't decided in 30 minutes, then everything explodes and whoever survives wins. Okay.
If they can, I don't think they'll be able to.
No, it was tough. But anyways, let's talk about it. So the opening moment saw both men trying to force the other's face into the barbed wire. I thought they did a really good job of teasing the first contact of the barbed wire, actually. From there, the psychology of the match is basically the continued teasing. This first chunk was all about people almost running into and getting something terrible happening, right? So Moxley is the first one to taste the barbed wire, and he definitely...
Of course he is,
He definitely took more of the abuse in this match.
Of course he is, though, right? That's Mox.
But I even like this, because Omega throws powder into his face, right? So he basically ends up hitting
I don't remember where he got the powder from, though.
He just kind of all of a sudden had it in his hand. I didn't notice either. So Moxley's the first one to go into the barbed wire and explosions. He gets busted open really early and bleeds a lot from his head.
Oh my god, like Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, kind of style, Cody Rhodes style.
But he just does the Mox thing and keeps fighting back, even though he's thrown into a barbed wire covered board that sort of ends up, one of the things of wire ends up right around his head too.
Right, and like the board breaks in half, which is pretty. I remember later on when Omega kind of drives him into the barbed wire, right? Yes. He goes kind of face first. The ref pours water on his eyes to help him, and meanwhile Mox has been battling with like a crimson mask.
And they don't help him at all.
Basically the whole match.
Yeah,
which I thought was kind of amusing.
It was. Omega tries to follow up with a figure 4, but Moxley kicks him off, sending Omega face first into the barbed wire for another explosion. Moxley then kicked Omega back into the ropes for a second explosion. Omega sent through a second barbed wire board in the corner after a Moxley exploder suplex. That looked pretty cool as well. And Moxley had hit a side slam onto a barbed wire covered chair as well. Omega tackled Moxley into the ropes, but Omega took the worst of it, with his face ending up right near one of the explosions, and it kind of went off, I guess, quote-unquote, in his face, basically, at that point. Moxley then, this was pretty cool, he hits a huge paradigm shift off the ring apron through the exploding barbed wire boards.
That was pretty
and like
nasty.
Omega was pretty much full vertical, right? It looked regardless of, I find some of the explosions and stuff a little bit cheesy, but regardless, this guy took
of explosions,
took a paradigm shift off of the apron onto wooden
head
boards
first, right?
So,
and then so he kind of goes, and Mox is just lying there for a second,
and then they still have to pick themselves out of this barbed wire, right?
Which would hurt.
So Omega does hit the one-winged angel as they head back to the ring, but Moxley. So here's what
I thought this was really creative.
It was. So Moxley breaks the pin by sort of kicking the ropes to cause an explosion, right? So that
kind of throws Omega off, and he gets off the pin.
Now, do you think he was kicking the ropes, or was it like, could it even be another layer of like it was an involuntary like spasm from taking the, you know what I mean? And he didn't even mean to do it at all, and that like super protects that move, because it is super protected. Anyway, either way, a very cool touch, I thought. But before Moxley,
using the stipulation,
yeah, I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
So we get the Good Brothers, of course, have to run in. They attack.
You're like, I hope they.
No chance.
There's no Good Brothers or whatever. I'm like, because I remember seeing a thing with them.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen.
No, of course not. They hand Omega a barbed wire bat that was rigged to explode.
I don't even know how that would work. 'Cause, like, I understand how you would rig the ring and whatnot, right? But I don't understand
some of this is
how
just
you could do that.
Very cheesy, I find. Eventually, Omega drives Moxley through a chair that had been set up in the middle of the ring with a one-winged angel.
That looked awesome.
Awesome. It really did.
That's the best one-winged angel,
So
like.
Now we get to the highlight of the show.
Right, sorry, it's just like, it's the finisher no one kicks out of, right? And then you're putting him through a seated chair, right? Like, just how much more do you need to, like... I guess that's just the testament to Mox being good, I guess, right? So.
And now, magically, after the commentary team just estimating the time left,
because
they've never been a timer
right?
that anyone had access to, and they would literally say, like, about 6 minutes, about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But now, suddenly, in the last minute, the timer goes up so we can be precise.
The heels are beating on Mox a bit, and then the 1 minute left
comes up,
and it's like it honestly looks like a doomsday kind of timer.
So yeah, they basically handcuffed Moxley's hands behind his back and continue the assault, leaving Moxley in the ring as the timer's counting down. Eddie Kingston runs out for what,
and he's kind of like fighting off his
could have been so
Butcher
cool.
and Blade,
right? Because if you remember, Moxley at one point said something about like, despite whatever, I'm one of the few people that still loves you, sort of thing, right? Like, even after all the crap we've been through, I'm one of the people that still loves.
And so
this has the potential to be
really
amazing, because Kenny Kingston is like forsaking his heel buddies to go and help a guy he's had wars with, but they have a history, and he's basically sacrificing himself and lying on top of Moxley as this doomsday device, as you said, is about to go off.
It would have been cooler if like it exploded, like it was a bit of an explosion, and then the ring maybe collapsed. At least, like, you know.
So I'm gonna leave this to you. Here's my notes. Eddie Kingston ran to the ring, covered Moxley as the explosives went off. Go ahead, describe it.
So there's like the pyro. It's literally pyro comes in the ring post, and picture Randy Orton's entrance from like 2004 with like the sparkles coming down. That's what came out of the ring post. There's smoke.
Nothing. Next to nothing.
And then ringside explosives went off for a visual.
So not anything that would even like wake up our cat if she were sleeping in front of the TV. And these poor guys, especially Kingston, because he hasn't taken any damage.
And this would have been such a cool moment if the explosion looked legitimate at all.
This is an all-timer, buddy. You witnessed like this is their
it's such like a poetic moment. I think it would have been so cool.
This is their Shockmaster, and I'm not even I'm like, I am prone to hyperbole, obviously, but this is mega bad.
Right, and I feel like if they knew, they could just do something else.
So my thought, it was so bad in the moment, right, that I'm already thinking, okay, so Callis is going to come on, and maybe they can still do this, right, and try and salvage it, and say that, I think I was telling you, So what are they going to do? They could say that it was all just mind games because Kenny designed this thing, right?
Right, but then if that was the case, then why did Kingston have to sell it?
Because the ultimate, that is true. That's a very good point. The ultimate torture, right, is like the mind games of thinking that you're going to die here.
And even with
Kingston lay there for minutes, right? Like he was dead.
Like he could have been like startled, but like.
So the end was like, this is an all-time, at this point, botch, unless they somehow explain their way out of this. It was super disappointing.
I'm even more disappointed, less because of the explosion, but more because I think Eddie Kingston's sacrifice would have been so
amazing.
Cool. Like,
it could have been. I feel so bad for him.
Right, because like that's just prime storytelling right there. And I think if this was any other, like, some sort of scenario where you had to help Mox, I think it would have been awesome.
And then, because I do think they're writing Mox off TV for a little bit right now, you have that, right? When he comes back, he can start right up with Kingston, and it would be cool, whatever their relationship is. You have something waiting.
I'm not gonna lie, I would love them as kind of like the Ciampa Thatcher kind of tag team.
Yeah.
Because, like, just, they would be great.
Yes, and the promos they cut would be amazing.
Right, they're like Ciampa and Thatcher. They're both, like, hard-hitting brawlers. They both are great promos.
Yep.
Like, I feel like they would have a great tag team dynamic.
So the crowd was booing, right? Moxley made comments after about Omega being...
I think this is less their Shockmaster and more their Hell in a Cell 2019.
Or the kennel from whatever that was.
Or the boss man being
but
hung.
Regarding this match, I'm going to have to say
the match was great.
I pretty much love this match, right?
I think it's really hard, though, to judge it, because, like, just the disappointment of that explosion.
Man, so much.
Just really, like, even if you love this match, it really does affect your opinion.
You're like, what? That's
right?
It,
like, even if I want to, like, say good things about this match, like, I will, but, like, it really does affect your opinion a bit.
Yep.
I feel like.
I like this match almost despite the gimmicks. I thought it was just a really good match.
The stipulation wasn't necessary.
Death match stuff, whatever. It's neither here nor there to me, really.
I don't think anyone was really close to death here.
These guys are both awesome. They did a great job. I really thought they did the teasing of the first contact with the barbed wire was good. That one-winged angel
was awesome.
Awesome. There was violent, intense action, lots of bloodshed. The paradigm shift on the boards was crazy. The one-winged angel on the chair was crazy. Both guys worked their butts off and told a really great story, and I was super pumped, as you were too, for the Eddie Kingston involvement, as I love the story that despite their battles, Mox and Kingston have some sort of relationship, and Kingston was willing to sacrifice himself, but I don't know how they salvaged this. I'm not kidding. Like, this was something.
That was a good explosion, because it adds so much more depth to Kingston's character, because, like, the whole, like, he had to be a snake thing, but then, like, I think deep down he's still kind of a good person.
But
right,
I guess the silver lining might be, if anybody has to explain this away, Kingston's your man, right? Like, if he has to somehow spin this and convince me of something, at least it's Eddie Kingston that's going to do it, because he probably can.
I think Callis and Omega need to do what you said, and then I think I really want to see what Kingston does. Like,
but what about
I think what should happen,
go ahead.
Callis and Omega do what you said, right? And then Kingston comes out pissed as hell, because he went there to try to save his best friend, and he, like, sacrificed himself, and then he just is pissed as hell, you know what I mean?
Or, here's what I was thinking.
I would love that.
What if he was like, yeah, I knew, and I came out there as a joke. Ha ha ha. You thought I would save this idiot?
There's that too.
You could save it with that, right?
Either one would work. I think.
Like, Mox, we messed with your head, and so did Kingston.
I think either way, there has to be the Callis Omega explanation, and then Kingston can literally do whatever the hell he wants.
If he can rip on the fans too, like, you guys thought I was really going to come out and save him. I already knew nothing was going to happen.
Or, like, you thought I was a dirtbag. Well, I tried to save him, or you know.
Either way, so they maybe they're just going to act like it didn't happen, or come out and apologize and just move on. But I'm interested. It does make me want to see Wednesday, right? Like, what are they going to say about this?
I probably still would rather watch NXT first, because I do want to see Balor versus Cole.
Yep, but we'll be watching them all for sure.
Yeah.
So overall, I didn't think this was particularly a strong pay-per-view, especially from AEW. They're usually
Although it was
pretty
better
solid.
than All Out.
Yes, I think so too. I really like the opener, the women's match, the street fight, and the main event. So that's 4 of the matches, right? So that's a decent time. The tag team battle royal was too long, too many lulls. The ladder match was good but not outstanding. Hardy, Page, Miro, Sabian were filler and I don't think needed to be there. I think that they're sort of suffering from their the more is more philosophy when NXT shows me that their formula is perfect for me. 5 amazing matches, no filler, 2.5 hours, you were in, we're out. So it wasn't a bad pay-per-view for sure, but over 4 hours with several matches I didn't really love, I'm going to give it a B overall, and that ending does hurt it a little bit. Although it's nice to say we saw it because people will be talking about that for quite a while, unless they explain it very well.
So I'll do my thing, and then I'll also go through the picks.
Sure.
So I don't know. I liked it. I think the opener. I like the tag team battle royal. I like the ladder match.
Yep.
The women's was fine. I surprisingly liked the cinema match.
Me too.
I'll say.
Really liked it.
And the main event finish aside was good. So I'd probably give it around what you did. Like
B. Close to a B plus.
Close to B plus.
Yep.
Yeah, but a B overall. But it was good.
Yeah, it was solid. Like, I thought it dragged a little bit after the opener because I didn't quite like the Battle Royal as much as you, but then it picked up later for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so
predictions.
Keep a tally.
Yep.
All right, so Casino Tag Team Royale, I picked Death Triangle, you picked Dark Order, Sylvan Reynolds, so that's 1 for me.
Boo.
We both picked Sabian and Miro, so that's 1 for both of us. We were both wrong for the ladder match.
Yep.
We both picked Hangman, so that's 1 for both of us. We both picked Sting and Allen, so that's 1 for both of us. We both picked the Young Bucks, so that's 1 for both of us. So I'm at 5, you're at 4.
Yep.
You picked Sheeta, I did not,
No,
so
even.
We're tied. And then we both picked Kenny Omega, so we're both at 6. But do you want to include the mystery signing?
Sure, because it's going to mean you win.
Okay, so I win, because I picked Christian.
You did.
And I picked him first.
Yeah, that's true, you did.
So
you were correct.
I win,
I think that's worth giving you the tiebreaker for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
You picked that, right? I'd say you win.
Yeah. So after I lost, what did I lose? I think it was Chamber, maybe.
Whatever it was, I picked everything right.
That was probably Takeover.
And I don't watch the product that I picked everything right.
Or was it? No, it was Chamber, right?
I think it was. Yeah, it was Chamber. I picked everything. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I gotta win. So yeah.
That wraps up our review of AEW Revolution. It was some newsworthy stuff, so hopefully you enjoyed
2 new signings, a crappy ending.
That's what everyone's going to talk about forever, so well, I think we'll leave it at that because we're going to be back down here on Saturday talking about Dynamite, talking about NXT, talking about Impact, probably ROH unless I knock that off.
Random match that I choose.
Some sort of other match, all kinds of stuff, the usual things, news, trivia, etc., all the stuff we bring you in our probably too long Saturday flagship show that we just do because we want to.
Oh, for sure, too long.
So thanks to anybody that's been listening to us. If you're new and you like us, please come back. We're pretty much anywhere that you would find podcasts, all that stuff.
Whatever.
So yeah, if you gave us any time out of your week, we really appreciate it. And we hope to see everybody plus more back on Saturday for our regular program. And until then, have a great week.